Welcome back, y'all. I'm Riot. This week's weekly hyperfixations are gonna be a bit sillier than they have been. Um, since my February is quite busy, this is recorded the week of Valentine's Day. Even though it will come out next week. So do bear that in mind, y'all, because I know you'll be seeing it after Valentine's Day. Bear with me. That's the space that I'm in this moment. Okay. All right. We've got a silly Valentine's Day episode for y'all. And it's a lot less like about news stuff that's relevant to me because, I'm kind of leaning away more than I want to from Hyper-Fixations. So we're trying to, kind of wiggle back via like acting and stuff, I guess. So when we get to the pyramid towards the end of the episode, you will notice that it's all really, really pretty people. That's intentional. So I just wanted to aim for a sillier episode because, I was editing episode 5 and I was like, man, this episode's kind of heavy. Let's be silly this time. So here we are. There's a lot in here, kind of all over the place. A surprising amount of Grammys stuff in here, actually. We are kind of in award show season, so do keep that in mind. All right. So I guess we'll kind of work up to the award show stuff. And start with the other things first. So first and foremost, I'm a Pokemon enjoyer. I don't even know if I've mentioned that yet in this. Huge Pokemon enjoyer. Given enough time, I could probably name all 1,000 and something Pokemon. And I mean that. Like, I'm not kidding. You know what I mean? I am not kidding. There's just so much Pokemon knowledge up in this brain. So, the Poke Rap, I know it. I know all of it. Though that only covers the first, 151. Actually, I don't remember if it has both Mew and Mewtwo in it, but it's the first gen. Whatever. So, in terms of Pokemon news, we've been getting, in the anime, they're on they've got the new girl whose name I can't remember. It's really cute though. What I really want to talk about is we've got finally our English VAs for some of the Elite Four and some of the gym leaders, and of course Rika, who's very important. Fun fact, Rika, after the episodes with Rika premiered in Japan, women's like polls and surveys on women's favorite characters in the anime, the numbers spiked real hard in Rika's favor. So that, and then the English VA for Rika is Erika Ishii, and I fucking cheered. I cheered. I was so hype about it. I'm still so hype about. I don't think they could have picked a better person to do that, actually. Because just every box is ticked for me on that one. I'm like so excited about it. To the point in which I told everyone in my household about it and was really excited about it. So very hype. She's so good. Okay. let me think of stuff that is not award show related. Right. So, we're slowly getting more stuff about Superman. Here we go. I don't think a single episode has not mentioned him. Which I guess does reflect on the fact that this is called Weekly Hyperfixations, because my brain is hyperfixing and just will not let go of it. So at a con, I believe, they had Nicholas Hoult there. And he was talking about a little bit about Superman. And he was like, yeah, I really want to play Lex Luthor for a long time, that kind of thing. Really excited for the role. And as he was saying, like, I really want to be able to be Lex Luthor for a long time. Hold on. He also said that he's also excited to see what Marvel does with the X-Men, and that he would be honored to play Beast again. And I had a moment. I looked at my partner. I said, hey, hand me my pillow real quick. And I screamed into it. My hands are shaking now. So needless to say, I'm very excited about that. Because I don't even care if he doesn't reprise his role for that. I'm just excited about it being mentioned. And I'm a little bit of a nightmare about it. No, I'm not. That's not true. I'm just really excited about that idea. Especially since, Beast doesn't get portrayed a whole lot, and it's usually a mixed bag. Looking at the weirdly CG done Kelsey Grammer one that was in something recently. I don't remember what it was. That was not it. That's what it was. It was not it. But then X-Men 97 Beast, excellent. So I don't, it's a mixed bag. And a lot of people do like him in the role of Beast. So listen, Marvel, I don't see why not. You know what I mean? I don't see why not. But I'm also very excited to see him play Lex Luthor, because I really don't give a shit about the Superman franchise. I'll be so real. Everyone, it's like the one big comic book name that I do not read, have not ever read. I've read things that's like Superman is in, but I've never read, just Superman, and I've never watched any of the animated shows, or I think I saw Justice League, but we all know how that reflected on all of those characters, so that doesn't really count. But will Superman be my favorite character? Obviously not. Obviously not. Have you seen the rest of the... No. However, I will actually care about Superman beyond just the general knowledge I've absorbed from, like, my brother talking about it, and, like, just people around me talking about it. Like, I know the whole... Oh, I guess I have seen one Superman thing. It's one of the animated ones, and it goes over the entire planet's destroyed, goes down to Earth. It goes through that. But that's all I got. I kind of know some of the things that are going on currently in the comics, just because you open social media and you're gonna see it, especially since I follow some accounts that, talk about comic book stuff, so obviously that's gonna pop up. But it's, it's from accounts where it's not necessarily just a Superman thing. So I'm very excited to have a new comic book thing to care about, actually. And I can actually immediately go into another one. We'll touch back on Superman later for a different reason. The Fantastic Four trailer came out this week. I'm extremely excited. Very interestingly, they did not show off Reed's powers specifically in the trailer, which I thought was honestly a nice touch. Because, you know, I don't know, he seems like he wants to be so composed. And also in the comics, sometimes he's literally trying to be so composed. So I don't know what direction they're going for that in particular, because in some versions, he has to be very constantly focused. Otherwise, he like becomes basically a pile of goo because he has to literally hold himself together. Like he has to focus on holding himself physically together, like his atoms, his atomic structure. I hope they don't go in that direction because that's a little traumatizing for everyone. But the posters also came out, and Ben Grimm's is really, really cute because he's the Thing. So the poster looks like the Addams Family, the Thing. And that's perfect. Also, they made Invisible Woman's powers do the pretty, like, rainbow refracting light thing. And thank God. Honestly, I think that's one of the best ways to do it. So that's very exciting. All right. Now I'm just gonna yap about the Grammys, basically. And also some of these are related to Critics' Choice Awards. Right? Yes. Critics' Choice Awards. Actually, I think only one of them is. We'll start with that one then. Back to Superman. Rachel Brosnahan. Rachel Brosnahan was at, she's playing Lois, she was at the Critics' Choice Awards. First of all, she looks beautiful. 10 out of 10. But also she was trying to, like, people were trying to interview her, trying to get her to say something, and she definitely almost said a spoiler. And she was like, I am not media trained enough for this. And I thought that was the funniest thing on earth because she's playing Lois Lane. But she's saying that she's not media trained enough. And I'm like, girl, you're Lois. What do you mean? I thought that was really funny. But literally all she said was that David, really strong. Nick, really bald. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm so excited. I'm very excited. I do think that with Superman and with Fantastic Four, I think we're hitting the point where superheroes are going to be good again. Like, superhero movies are going to be good again. I think we're circling back to that. Thank God. It's about damn time. I'm really hoping both movies do well because if they don't, that just sucks. And we need something to be good right now, basically. So, and by we, I do mean we the people. So, yeah, so that moment on the Critics' Choice Award carpet was really funny. And then in terms of the Grammys, y'all, imagine your biggest hater. Think about your biggest hater. You think about him? Great. Imagine your biggest hater is trying to dunk on you. And then you go and win 5 Grammys for one song, which is equivalent to the amount of Grammys your hater has won over their entire career. And you just met that count in one night for one thing. Y'all, Kendrick Lamar has slaughtered that man's career. All right? Like, Drake ain't never coming back from this one, I don't think. No way. No way. You know what I mean? Imagine losing rap beef so badly that you have to then watch the person you were fighting with have like an accelerated career win, like a fast track to even more popularity because you lost that badly. Dude, I would quit. I'd be done. Like 5 Grammys in one night. And also, dude, also Kendrick's performing at the Super Bowl, as far as I'm aware. Do I care about the Super Bowl? No. No, I don't. I think I cared about it one time in junior high because I was living in the Seattle area and we won. And that's the only time I cared about the Super Bowl. So, yeah. I usually just care about the funny commercials that come out, and then sometimes I care about the musical performance. Mainly because they do all these gimmicky things, you know, like 2015, Katy Perry had Left Shark and that big tiger thing. Was it Rihanna that did one recent? And she was pregnant? I don't remember who that. I think that was Rihanna, right? I don't remember. But that one, like, you know what I mean? The Super Bowl halftime show is a very influential cultural moment, I feel. So imagine losing rap beef so badly that you have to watch the person who was your opponent for that be that cultural moment. It's so funny to me. Dude, just quit. You're like, what else do you do after that? How do you do anything after that, you know? Whatever. I'd also like to touch on Sabrina Carpenter's performance at the Grammys. And I will say briefly, I did really, really, really like Chappell Roan's performance, but I am a theater kid. And did you see Sabrina's performance? So very. Also, y'all, easiest way to get my attention with music, put something a little jazzy in there. Put something a little jazzy in there. You know what I mean? Let there be more jazz, please and thank you. Because, like, you know, sometimes I'll like listening to normal Sabrina Carpenter music, Chappell Roan, girly pop. They on my girly pop playlist. And I'll listen to my girly pop playlist. I'll listen to my K-pop playlist. And then I got a playlist. I've got several playlists, actually. They're just full of jazz. Because I wish life felt like how jazz feels to listen to. Does that make any sense? Listening to jazz, it's just so, like, it's more... Pop music isn't elegant. It's fun, it's poppy, it's, sometimes brash. I like a little elegant sip something on the rocks and listen to jazz. Maybe play the jazz on a record. Something nice, Low lighting. Yeah. I got real into thinking about jazz right there. I almost stopped remembering I was recording because I just honed in on jazz music. And I don't particularly, smooth jazz, any jazz really, with words or without, honestly. Like a nice, like, what do you call it? Just like a jazz bar, I guess? I would die for that, actually. because I enjoy that classy setting. I enjoy dressing to fit that setting. Do you know what I mean? And I am kind of in a dress that I would wear. It's really hard to tell that this is a dress, but with the lighting. But I do vastly enjoy that elegance. And I wish I could explore that elegance more often in my life. But I just can't. There's not places like that near me. I don't really know anyone who would particularly enjoy it as much as I would. And I wouldn't want to go by myself, not necessarily. But I kind of just, I don't know. I got really into talking about jazz, and yeah. But Sabrina Carpenter's Grammy performance, let's get back to that, opens really jazzy, opens very theater kid-esque, and I see it and I go, thank God. Thank God she's not afraid of that at all. Thank God she's not afraid of still showing that side of her, even though like acting is more of a past thing for her. It's good to see that she's not shying away from that kind of thing. That performance was beautiful, honestly. I really loved it. It was beautiful. I don't know what else to say. It was great. I enjoyed it. Also, and this isn't in my notes. We're kind of winging it a little bit with this episode. There's not too much in my notes of substance. But I want to point out that, a while back when Kesha released her song Joyride. Okay, you with me here? When Kesha released Joyride, people were joking, oh, we're getting back into recession pop. And now Gaga is releasing 2 songs and an album coming up. And I'm like, no, girly, we're already there, actually. We're getting it back. Have you heard Abracadabra? Have you heard Disease? Because I don't know about you, girly, but that is what we mean when we say recession pop, I fear. No, I don't fear. Well, close enough. Welcome back 2009, I guess. You know what I mean? It's, and recession pop is good because it helps people have an escape from worrying about the political landscape around us, or just, it's usually political landscape, but just, if you're having a hard time, music helps escape from that. Anyway, recession pop is functionally pop that's built for that kind of thing, to kind of give you a moment to kind of like reflect on how there is some good stuff going on. So it's very important. And I'm very glad that it's happening. Also, I do think both of those are a banger. I'm very glad that Gaga didn't really slow down her career just because Joker 2 didn't go well. Thank God. So yeah. I guess we'll get into this week's pyramid. This week's pyramid is all really pretty people. Because it's Valentine's Day week, I just decided to be like, okay, everyone on the pyramid this week has to be someone I think is attractive or I think is really cool. 2 of the people on this pyramid are, I think they're really cool and they are attractive. But then the other 4 are like, I find these people very attractive. So that's what we're working with here. So first up this week on the pyramid, our Valentine's week pyramid, is Chapel Roan. For a lot of reasons, honestly, besides just being really cool and pretty. Being the person that makes that kind of music with everything that's going on at the moment in America is gotta be really hard to do because, you know, you don't know if something's going to change that gets you into real trouble, even though we all know should not get in trouble for singing about things like that. But it's definitely a worry now. So just making the most of it, I guess. Also making the most of her speech when she won the Grammys, where she was calling out the fact that labels don't treat small artists well. And I think that was really important. And she's seeing how people really stand with her on that just through social media. So she's really doubling down on it. Like, hey, match my donation for, you know, XYZ regarding smaller artists. And I think that she's really making a change and really bringing an awareness in general to how the landscape has shifted in the past, you know, 15 years. So I think it's really important what she's doing. So she's on the pyramid. Jesus Christ, there's so many arrows because I switched around the order of the pyramid this week. Chosan. Yippee. So my AT's bias. Incoming K-pop talk. My AT's bias, San. That's just a buff man, Your Honor. He is up here because he's very handsome. Very handsome man. But also it's really funny to see someone who is so silly goofy outside of work that, you know, there's like this clip of him and, you know, it's one of those concert entrances where they're on a little platform that's below the stage and it moves up to be parallel with the floor of the stage. And you can see him like doing this. And then the second the platform starts lifting, he just locks in and it's like, whoa. He is technically he's my bias wrecker. Because my favorite member of ATEEZ is Hongjun, the leader. But it's not because I think he's like the cutest one. I think San is. So he's on the pyramid this week because this pyramid is essentially a bunch of biases because they're pretty or cool. So that's why he's on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid, if I can read my writing. Hold on. Wait a minute. Kiga. And then... Okay. I figured out what I wrote. I'd also like to point out that I've seen a lot of K-pop memes recently where it's like, this song was written with pink glitter gel pen. Great news. This episode was written with pink glitter gel pen and regular pink gel pen. So most of the notes for this were written in pink glittery gel pen because I was thinking about that meme. So, ta-da. Next up on the pyramid is Sabrina Carpenter. Again, did you see her Grammys performance? She's also on this pyramid because she's beautiful, obviously. But she's the other person she and Chapel are on this pyramid because they're pretty, they're really cool. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I do not simp for either Chapel Roan or Sabrina Carpenter, but they are on this pyramid. The other 4 people on this pyramid, I can safely be like, yeah, I would say that I kind of simp for them. Not in a weird way per se, in more of a way where I'm like, that is just a beautiful individual who made this art because it's beautiful and it's a person. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Sabrina's on this list because of her Grammys performance, because I am a theater kid and she did put in some jazziness, and that gets me every time. And it will always get me every time. There's not much I can do about that. I know myself too well. You know what I mean? So she's on the pyramid. All right, we're moving up a row on the pyramid. Next up on the pyramid, we have Ian or Jongin from Stray Kids. Not the usual Stray Kids member I bring up. Today, actually, is his birthday. He is only 2 months older than me, so he's the youngest in the group, but he's my age. It's the 8th, by the way, of February. But he's up here, partially because it is his birthday, but also, one of my close friends got me the mixtape album Hop for Christmas, and I forget how good Hallucination is. Plain and simple, I forget how good Hallucination is. I also just really like his voice, I guess, which my normal bias Hyunjin, I'm like, meh. I'm more like Hyunjin for his dancing, in particular. San is also very good at dancing. You can see that there's a clear track for biases with most of these, which I feel like I've mentioned before, but you know. But Ian is also just so silly goofy. Also likes Pokemon, so that's a bonus. Is that my Stray Kids bias wrecker also enjoys Pokemon. And in fact, at one point his profile picture on, I want to say Instagram, was of one of the coolest characters in the Pokemon anime, which is Lucy. She was like the only girl that in the original trio of Brock, or no, that one might have been Brock, Ash, May, and Max. I don't remember. But Lucy was like the only girl that liked Brock, which never happened. But I thought she was really cool because she had a Seviper, which is a snake. And also just generally, she seemed like she had a weird amount of development for a character that I don't even remember appearing in the games. She must have, but I don't, you know. But yeah, I got off track there, as I do. But I ends up on the pyramid because very pretty man. Also, he's 24 now. Congratulations, I guess. That was stupid. Anyway, number 2 is a beautiful woman. All right, stunning individual. I'm realizing I could have put someone else on this pyramid. That's fine. Next up on the pyramid is Florence Pugh. The first thing I saw her in was 2019 Little Women, in which she wasn't really a lovable character in that. I'll be so real. She's the more bratty sister, but she's just so cool. Also, Midsummer, whew. I haven't seen Black Widow, but I do like her as Yelena of what I've seen of that. But Florence Pugh is just beautiful. I love when she, and I don't know if she still does it. I haven't really checked, but she at some point would just be on her Instagram story. She'd just be baking, or she'd be live and just making food. And I really liked that. That was really wholesome and good, and I liked it. She's on the pyramid because she's so pretty. She also just seems like someone delightful to be around. I didn't see, what was it called? I didn't see her most recent thing with Andrew Garfield. What was that called? I can't remember what that was called. We Live in Time. That's what it's called. I didn't see We Live in Time, but mostly out of knowing, I didn't see it mostly out of knowing that I would be crying the whole time. Or at least for a good portion of it, I would be crying. And, you know, it's uncomfy when you get stuffy after crying. So it didn't, you know what I mean? Also, if I'm crying, chances are the tears are gonna get, you know, on my lashes, and I'm not even gonna be able to see the movie. It's gonna get on my glasses. Can't take them off to clean them. I'm in a movie. Anyway. But Florence Pugh's on here because absolutely would. She's beautiful. I hate the way I phrased that. I'm sorry. But Florence Pugh is high up on the pyramid because just beautiful, gorgeous. Pretty much everyone on this pyramid are people that I'm just like in awe of, where it's like I would be so nervous meeting these people that unless I am told what to say or do, I think I would just stumble over my words because I'd be so distracted by just being around them, which, so I guess what I'm saying is it would be really hard to get over being starstruck if I was in the same room as them. I feel like it might be easier with like Sabrina or Chapel, where I don't necessarily find them pretty and attractive in a way that makes me stutter or anything. But I do think it would be easier because they're closer in age to me. I feel like that would make it a lot easier. But I do think that I would be so nervous about meeting anyone on this list this week. So with that, an obvious choice for slot number 1. Let me check last week. Oh, he actually wasn't on the pyramid last week. I might not have even mentioned him last week. That would be the first time I haven't mentioned him. But with the episode I posted most recently, he is on there. Okay, well, and I'm sure he's been on the top of the pyramid more than once, if I had to guess. Okay. I'm gonna preface this. Y'all, I'll be so real. You know, some people today that are my age are like downright gross around celebrities. And as you can tell by how I phrase that, I do not vibe with that. Especially since the way I like to carry myself around people I do not know is as elegantly as possible. As composed and elegant as possible. Very mindful, very demure, I guess, to use that turn of phrase. And I felt the need to address the fact that I find most fan culture behaviors that are extreme to be disgusting. And I do think that fan culture is getting worse because people are becoming more comfortable with being pushy and mean and really gross about celebrities. And I don't vibe with that at all. That's disgusting. I actively discourage behavior like that. And I feel like I needed to say that because I keep bringing up this one actor. And I need y'all to understand that I may make jokes. But we all need to keep in mind that there's a big distinction between what is and is not okay with that kind of with interacting with celebrities, okay? And like some people are just so downright disrespectful. It's not even some people, it's a lot of people are just disrespectful when talking about celebrities, and I do not like that. And I did want to preface the first spot on the pyramid with this, because as much as I mention him, as much as I mention this actor, if I acted like that around him, put me down. Put me down. You know what I mean? Take me out back. Get rid of me. If I acted like that in front of a celebrity, no, absolutely not. So with that out of the way, if I acted like that in front of this man, end me, because that's not appropriate. I mention him a lot because literally the prettiest man I've ever seen in my life. Spot number 1 on the pyramid this week on our little Valentine's week episode is Nicholas Hoult. And I mean everything I said before, everything that I prefaced this with, I mean it. Because also I think even, and I made a joke about it earlier, and even with I can't remember who I made that joke with. I don't remember. It might have, I can't remember who it was. But as a joke with one of the other people on the pyramid, I said, would. Even that, I'm like, I hated that. I'm sorry. That was disgusting. Because I think also the fact that people treat celebrities like they're fair game, I guess, is gross. And I think that it's honestly like being a worse version of yourself because you want the attention of a celebrity, or because you want to, I don't know, you know, but I feel like you may understand like where I'm like what I'm trying to get at with that. I think that kind of behavior is deplorable. I think that it's immature, honestly, because like, yeah, I'll make the occasional joke about it, but I try to make jokes about it in a way that makes it more clear that I'm actively trying to avoid thinking about people in a parasocial way, because I think that's immature. And it's not respectful to anyone, really. It's not even respectful to yourself. But I hate that I'm talking about some stuff so serious, and then I go, and then he's number 1 on the pyramid. He is number 1 on the pyramid. Nicholas Hoult's number 1 on the pyramid. Upstanding guy, I feel. But I also feel for people who are in their acting career and then they play a huge role as a villain. And I'm like, that's gotta have some effect on how some fans see you. Or like they won't like you because you're in this role. And I don't know. So hopefully that doesn't happen as much. But, you know, hopefully, I don't know. It just always feels weird to see someone in such a wildly different role than you've seen them before. And do I think that will change my perception of Nicholas Hoult? No, not at all. Mainly because there's a distinction between actor and character. Lex Luthor, not a great guy, obviously. But Nicholas Hoult as an actor seems like just a really great guy to be around. So he's number 1 on the pyramid. Yes, it is also because he's very attractive to me. But yeah. I try to distinguish, and I know that this pyramid is literally just filled with people that I'm in awe of and I think are pretty and handsome and all that. They're just people, y'all. They're just people. They need to be respected as such. And honestly, it's embarrassing and immature if you don't treat them in a respectable manner. So I guess keep that in mind for this Valentine's week episode, even though this is coming out after the fact. Just remember to like, hey, those are just people. Listen, I know they're famous. I know they're cool. I know millions of people know about them. They are just people. You need to remember that, okay? You need to remember that they're just people. This is their job. Stuff like that. Anyway, that'll be it this week, I guess. That'll do it for our Valentine's week episode, I guess. Again, this episode was not written. It's literally bullet points. I've got bullet points, and then I've got my pyramid. I don't know how well this will show up on camera. Oh, kind of. This side's a little light because it's in glitter pink gel pen. This is last week, so you can see that one a bit better. But it's literally just bullet points and the pyramid. But and you know what day it is. But yeah, this episode was written in pink glitter gel pen because I decided it was going to be a silly one this week. So I thank you all for taking that little trip with me to a more silly place this week. Though I did talk about something serious, I suppose, but this episode was intended to be silly, goofy, girly, which I don't always ascribe to being girly per se, but I wanted to not talk about harrowing stuff, I guess. So with that, I thank you all for watching. Again, as this is a hobby, I do all of it myself. And listen, I know even if no one got my back, my bestie from Germany does have my back. My platonic wife from Germany got my back. So, but I thank you all for watching, you know, and, you know, everything is edited and all that jazz. I do all of it, because, you know, it's a fun hobby, tracking my life through what's on my mind each week, basically. And I thank you all for joining that journey. This is already number 7. This is week 7 out of 52 weeks in a year. That's crazy. I don't know what percentage that is, but like it still feels like a lot already. And I thank you all for being on that journey with me. And here comes the shill sounding part. I'm sorry. But you know, every like, every subscribe, every comment, not only does it help with channel growth, but it helps motivate me to keep doing something that I find enjoyable and fun, and also just to know that like people do enjoy this, and it's not just me, and it's not just semantics, I guess. um but yeah, um I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. um and I'll see you next week, but hang on to some of the things I said in this episode. They were important. um and I don't know, I just thank you for being here. It means a lot. So, like I said, I'll see y'all next week for Weekly Hyperfixations. I'll be in the midst of I'll actually be there'll be a show this next week. So I guess next time I record, I will have finished the first week of the play that I'm working on. I'm doing sound now. I'm now the sound person. So we finally found a solid place for me to do my thing, and that thing is sound. So may be a bit hectic next week, but I'll see you then. Have a good one, y'all.